Imagine being betrayed by the one person who promised to protect you, and then being asked to help raise the result of that betrayal. That's exactly what happened to today's writer, whose husband fathered a child with his mistress and now wants her to step up like nothing happened. But is she heartless for refusing, or is this the ultimate test of self respect? We're diving into the full story, and trust me, it only gets more intense from here. If you enjoy real stories filled with raw emotion, betrayal, and tough moral choices, make sure to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to never miss an episode. Your thoughts matter, and we love reading every single one of them. Now, let's get into it. Am I the asshole if I were to tell my husband that I don't want to have any relationship nor help him care for the child he fathered with his lover? I still can't believe this thing happened to me, and I'm just so lost and so tired now. I never expected for my husband to do this to me after everything we have. English is not my first language, and I'm still in shock, so please forgive me if there's some mess in my post. I'm just venting and feeling so broken. I've never used Reddit for things like this and just watched stories from the internet. Some background. Me, 44F, and my husband, 45M, have been married for 2 decades, 4 kids together. Shane, F23, BA, F22, Charles, M17, and Ivan, M13. All of our kids are adopted since I cannot carry a child to term, but I treat all of my kids as if I birthed them myself. My husband and I have a wonderful relationship. We're high school sweethearts, dated in high school and got married in college. We rarely fight because we always address issues together and always tried our best to fight for our relationship. We have date nights, and our kids cringe every time we're together because of how affectionate we are. We both have good jobs. I work in a high position at a call center, while my husband works in tech. We earn enough to provide a comfortable life for our children, and we have great intimacy. We were each other's firsts in everything. So imagine my shock when my husband told me this morning that he had a one-night stand with a coworker 9 years ago, and it resulted in a boy. My husband told me it happened while I was away on a trip with my girlfriends. He said he was feeling lonely and stressed from a project and didn't want to bother me because I rarely go out with my friends. He claims he didn't mean for it to happen, that it never happened again, but I don't know if I believe him. According to him, after they slept together, he and the affair partner talked about how much of a mistake it was and agreed it should never happen again. Since then, they only spoke at work for professional reasons. She left the company 2 months later, and they never saw each other again. Now, just this morning, he told me that her parents contacted him a month ago. They told him she became pregnant from their one-night stand and gave birth to a son. She's now in jail for the foreseeable future. Her elderly parents said they can no longer care for the boy, and although they love him, they can't give him the life he deserves. So they want my husband to take him in. I just became numb the entire time he explained it to me. Then he told me his plan to turn one of our guest rooms into the boy's room, introduce him to our kids as their new brother, and basically integrate him into our family. He even said I would love the boy because he likes anime like I do, and that we'd get along. My husband is ecstatic, says the boy looks just like him, is a good kid, and would be so grateful to have a normal life with parents who love him, which, from what I gather, means me and him being the parents. Um, I don't know what to do. I know the boy is completely innocent and didn't choose any of this, but the fact that my husband knew about this child for a month and kept it from me, and the fact that this boy is his biological son, something I could never give him, is tearing me apart. I feel horrible, and I hate that I'm starting to feel resentful about the child's existence. I'm currently locked in our bedroom. My husband's been knocking and begging me to open the door, but I just want to cry in peace. I don't want to care for this child. I don't want to see the living result of my husband's betrayal, but I also pity the boy. So, am I the asshole? Edit. He already got a paternity test and confirmed the boy is his. I asked him this earlier, hoping it wasn't true, that maybe he was being scammed and we could move past this. But no, the boy is his. Honestly, this one hits hard. You can feel the weight of 20 years of love, loyalty, and shared life unraveling in a single morning. From my perspective, you are not the asshole. Not even close. You've been blindsided with a betrayal that comes with permanent consequences, and now you're expected to mother the very living reminder of your husband's affair? That's not just unfair, it's emotionally crushing. Yes, the child is innocent, but so are you. Your feelings matter just as much. If your husband really respected you and your marriage, he wouldn't have hidden this for a month and then dumped it all on you with a ready made plan. You're allowed to process this in your own time, and you're allowed to say no. This story is emotionally heavy, but there's more where that came from. Let's move on to the next one. Am I the asshole if I kick my boyfriend's sister out of our house? Not the a-hole obligatory, this is a throwaway account. I don't really use Reddit much. Don't want people I know finding this. I 20FF. Have been with my boyfriend, 27M, for 3 years, and he moved in with me last year. Everything was going great until last Christmas when his parents announced they were selling the family home and downsizing so they could go on one of those 6-month-long cruises around the world. Fine, whatever. It's their life. Except they have a younger daughter, Emma, who's 18. Completely unbeknownst to me, my boyfriend had already agreed to let Emma move in with us until she left for university. That decision, made without my input, caused a lot of fights between us because I didn't want her living here. But despite everything, she moved in when the house was sold in February. And since then, it's been absolute hell. For starters, our house has 3 bedrooms, but only one was used as an actual bedroom. One is my home office, and the other was our shared home gym. Emma turned the gym into her room, and now most of our equipment is in storage. I hate having Emma here. She's a total brat and contributes nothing to the household. Here's just a small list of the nonsense I've had to deal with. The minute she turned 18, she was constantly out partying, coming home drunk at 3 a.m., waking up my dogs as she clattered through the house, often with an equally drunk friend in tow. For the first month she lived here, she stole my stuff constantly. Skincare, hair care, perfume, clothes, everything. I now keep all my toiletries in a lockbox so she can't get to them. She's lost 6 different sets of house keys, and I've had to change the locks twice because of it. She refuses to help with anything. Anytime I ask her to do something, she claims she's busy. She doesn't even have a job. Busy with what exactly? She refuses to eat anything I cook. I've asked her repeatedly for meal suggestions, even cooked exactly what she asked for, and she'll still refuse to eat it because it doesn't taste right. She always demands takeaway instead. The breaking point came last weekend. My boyfriend, the dogs, and I went away. I didn't want to leave Emma alone, but my boyfriend insisted it would help her gain some independence before university. Huge mistake. We came home Sunday night to a trashed house. Emma was passed out, hungover in her room. I spent half the night cleaning and still had to call in a professional cleaner on Monday to finish the job. I'm done. I thought I could put up with this until September, but now she's talking about deferring university to go traveling and using our house as her base. Absolutely not. I want her gone, immediately. Yes, she technically has nowhere else to go until her parents return from their cruise in late August, but I no longer care. I want her out. I've talked to my boyfriend about this. He won't budge, says Emma is family and he can't kick her out. So, am I the asshole if I kick her out? Edit. I forgot to mention. This is my house. I own it outright, no mortgage. My boyfriend isn't on any paperwork. The only thing in his name is our Sky TV subscription. Everything else is in my name. His name, he sends me money for half the bills each month, but that's it. I've texted his parents, asking them to call me ASAP. I've also reached out to Emma and my boyfriend's older sister to see if she can take Emma in, though they don't get along and she has a 2-year-old, so not holding my breath. Edit 2. I am such a goddamn idiot. First, thank you to everyone who commented. You've helped me realize that my boyfriend is not someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. Second, I had a video call with his parents and wow. Turns out they've been sending £700 a month to Emma for her living expenses since she moved in. I've seen none of it. Their mom casually mentioned I could deduct the cleaning cost from Emma's money, and when I asked what money she meant, she laughed and said, the £700 we send Emma each month to cover her expenses while she lives with you. Either Emma kept all the money or she gave it to my boyfriend, and he never told me. Her parents were furious. I wasn't getting any of that money. They've just sent me £4,200 via bank transfer to cover what I should have received since February and told me to do whatever I want with it. I was brutally honest on the call. I said, I cannot have Emma living here any longer. Even if she might be leaving for uni in September, there's no guarantee. She could defer. She could stay. I'm not dealing with this for another year. Her mom is going to speak to her sister to see if Emma can stay there until they return in late August. And no, they won't be living with us when they get back. They've got a house lined up. Now, I'm going to have a serious talk with my boyfriend tonight. I'm rethinking the entire relationship. If he defends Emma staying, we're done. Too many of your comments have made me realize I've been a doormat since she moved in, and that I should have been charging him rent. I'm not standing for it anymore. Wish me luck. Helpful Reddit folks. Wish me luck. As someone reading this, I don't think the writer would be the asshole at all for kicking Emma out. If anything, it's long overdue. This isn't just about an annoying house guest. It's about boundaries, respect, and being treated like a partner in your own home. The writer was lied to, used, and left to clean up both literal and emotional messes, all while their boyfriend sat back and enabled it. And to top it all off, Emma's been pocketing, or at the very least mismanaging, £700 a month without saying a word. Nope, that's not just disrespectful, that's manipulative. Honestly, the writer deserves peace in their own home, and if it takes kicking Emma and maybe the boyfriend out to get it, then so be it. So, that's the end of this one. But trust me, the next story, it's just as chaotic. Am I the asshole for picking a restaurant for my birthday dinner that did not meet the needs and requirements of my dad's wife and her son? My dad got married to Kathleen when I, 22M, was 15. Kathleen has two kids, a daughter I've never met, she's probably in her late 20s or early 30s, and a son, Benjamin, 18M. Benjamin is allergic to peanuts and shellfish. On top of that, he and Kathleen are both very picky eaters. When I lived with them, Benjamin's diet mostly consisted of pizza, fries, burgers, and beef and cheese tacos. No fruits, no vegetables. He wouldn't touch any meat that wasn't beef, but he'd still eat chocolate, ice cream, and other junk food. He was terrible about checking labels too, and had a few allergic reactions while we lived together. One time he had to be rushed to the hospital and spent a week there after a really bad reaction. Kathleen's picky too. I can't remember every single thing she refused to eat, but it included any kind of fish, any kind of potato, rice, pasta, bread. You get the idea. This always put us in a weird spot when my dad wanted to order takeout or go out to eat. There were only a couple of fast food places where Kathleen would order a salad and Benjamin would get his usual pizza or burger. The food wasn't great, but I dealt with it. What sucked was that every single time we ordered out or went out for my birthday, it was always one of their two preferred places. Even a taco place was out of the question unless everything except meat and cheese was removed. And even then, sometimes it still came with gross shit. Benjamin's words, not mine. They've always expected us to bend around their picky habits and allergies. Even now, anytime they want to do a family meal, it has to be one of their places. I've stopped going because I'm tired of dealing with them. They're also incredibly judgmental about how other people eat. It's exhausting. A few weeks ago, I had a birthday dinner with my girlfriend, friends, and some family. My dad wanted to come and expected Kathleen and Benjamin to be invited too. I said that was fine if they were willing to eat where I had chosen. Then I got an email from Kathleen and several calls from my dad saying the restaurant I chose did not meet the needs and requirements of Benjamin and Kathleen. Their suggestion? That all of us travel out of state to have dinner at one of their preferred spots for my birthday. I said no. I told my dad he was still welcome to come, but I wasn't changing the dinner plans. Kathleen then sent another email asking why I was being so hostile, like her daughter, and said I should care about my family's health and interests. What really sent them over the edge, though, was when they found out some of my dad's side flew in from out of state to join us for dinner. That side of the family usually never accepts invitations to eat out, so it pissed Kathleen and my dad off even more. And now, I'm dealing with more of their anger just because I chose where to eat on my own birthday. So, am I the asshole? Reading this, I can't help but feel like the only person trying to draw a boundary here is the writer. This wasn't about excluding anyone. It was about finally having one night, your night, without needing to plan around two people who have historically refused to accommodate anyone else. It's your birthday, not a diplomatic summit. And asking everyone to travel out of state just so Kathleen and Benjamin can have their precious burgers, that's not a reasonable need. That's entitlement. From where I'm sitting, you're not the asshole at all. You're someone who's just tired of always being the one to compromise. And if your dad can't see that, then maybe it's time he asked himself, who's really being hostile here? Anyway, this one's done. Now let's move on to the next story in this saga of Reddit family drama. Am I the asshole for letting my daughter flaunt her expensive items? Not the a-hole I, 50F, and my husband, 48M, have a daughter, Danica, 21F, who has been extremely independent her whole life. Danica began working when she was 15, and now she works part-time for a large corporation while pursuing her studies. We are extremely proud of her and how hard she has worked. We generally allow her to manage her own finances, and she insists on contributing monthly to family expenses with the money she earns. Danica occasionally likes to make pricier purchases, which I do not have any concern over, as I think they are sensible financial choices. Like last year, she decided to purchase the newest MacBook as her old laptop was on its last leg and she wanted something reliable and long lasting, or when she bought a Marc Jacobs bag for work and university. We recently went on a family trip with my brother and his family, who have two kids of their own, Tammy, 20F, and Nick, 23M. His kids and Danica aren't exactly close, but they get along fine for the most part. I know that Tammy and Nick do not have any source of income besides my brother and have not worked a day in their life. During the trip, Danica would occasionally pay for the three of them for small things like drinks or food. When we were shopping, Danica bought a few items for herself and picked up gifts she wanted to bring back to her friends. During dinner that night, my sister-in-law, brother's wife, told my husband and me that we were spoiling Danica too much with her purchases. We explained that Danica earned her own money, and every cent came from her job. Sister-in-law then proceeded to point and tell Danica that if that was the case, she shouldn't be flaunting her purchases and items in front of her cousins, who don't have a cushy little office job, and parents who spoiled her into the person she is. Danica apologized politely, saying that she didn't mean to flaunt her things, but I could tell that she was upset and embarrassed. My husband stood up and shot back, saying that Danica shouldn't have to apologize for her own hard work. I also pointed out that Danica has been financially independent since she was 15, and that we've always done our best not to spoil her. Sister-in-law then proceeded to tell us that we weren't teaching her how to manage her finances correctly, and that all this money had turned her into a little brat. Danica excused herself to the bathroom and texted that she had gone back to the hotel. We had a tense back and forth for the rest of the dinner, and we came back to finding Danica crying in her hotel room. I call my brother, hoping that he is able to talk to his wife, but he explained that for the past few days, Tammy had been crying to her parents about not having what Danica had. She had been whining to her mom that she wanted the newest MacBook as well, but she refused to get it for her. Myself, Danica, and my husband have been getting calls from the rest of the family, some calling us a-holes, and some who were willing to hear us out and understand where we were coming from. So, am I the asshole? From where I'm sitting, Danica is the absolute opposite of spoiled. She's responsible, independent, and generous, even covering small things for her cousins without being asked. The real problem isn't what she bought, but the insecurity and entitlement it triggered in people who haven't taught their own kids to work or manage money. Calling her a brat when she's been grinding since 15, that's a projection if I've ever seen one. Honestly, it sounds like the only thing Danica's flaunting is how much more mature she is than the adults in the room. And with that stormy family dinner behind us, it's time to dive into the next story. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her and not sexism? This concerns my sister Lily, who is graduating soon. Our parents taught us the importance of personal hygiene and keeping yourself presentable. But I guess Lily fell off the wagon while dorming in college because it feels like she dropped everything to do with personal hygiene since moving back home. It's easier to explain with a list of things she isn't taking care of. Hair, very oily, greasy, and always tangled from lack of wash and brushing. Skin, also very oily, greasy from no wash. Nails, never trimmed so they're long and yellow from grime. Clothes themselves are nice, but she leaves them sloppy, wrinkled. Body, showers once a week tops. I'm not sensitive to smell, but my sister reeks and honestly makes me gag sometimes. Lily is upset because she says she can't get an in-person job in her field and wants to give up. Our parents have tried telling her that presentability/hygiene is as important as credentials when getting jobs, but my sister won't listen. Lily has a rocky relationship with our family, so she takes it as a personal attack rather than them trying to help. Lily is now blaming sexism and says men are all just intimidated by a competent woman, and that's the sole reason why she hasn't gotten a job. If she wants to lie to herself, it's her life, whatever. What I can't stand is her trying to make it my problem and expect validation from me. Lily just did a bunch of interviews, but all went cold after, and none panned out into jobs. She was venting to me last week about how companies in this field are all boys clubs and quick to shoot down a woman they know is intellectually above them. I was basically just like, good for you. Can I please finish my session in peace now? Lily got defensive and said she's just warning me, then doubled down saying most men are selfish and I should save myself the headache now. She was saying this with my male friends on the voice call. I had enough and told Lily that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her. So stop blaming others and think for 2 seconds. If you were a company owner who needs to impress investors to keep your own family afloat, would you want to be represented by someone who looks and smells like a homeless person or someone who is presentable and takes care of themselves? We got into an argument, and Lily is now either giving me one word answers or not saying anything to me at all. I'll be honest that we argue a lot, but Lily normally would have gotten over it by now. Did I do the right thing giving Lily a dose of reality, or did I fuck up here? Honestly, I don't think the writer is the asshole here. This wasn't about tearing Lily down. It was a harsh truth said out of frustration when nothing else was getting through. Isn't some trivial aesthetic issue, especially when it comes to job interviews. And while sexism definitely exists in the workforce, blaming it entirely while ignoring glaring personal habits isn't self-awareness, it's deflection. The delivery may have stung, sure, but sometimes sugarcoating doesn't work. That wraps up this one. Let's dive into the next story.